Good afternoon, everyone. This is Uma Shankar from Voice of VIP. Welcome to our 12th webinar in the webinar series Voice of VIP Webinar Express. So, today we are going to talk about content writing. In this webinar, we'll explore the different types of content writings and we'll also try to understand the effective methods of content writing and becoming a content writer. Today, we have Aishwarya with us. This is second webinar for us and Aishwarya. So we had blogging as a visually impaired as our third webinar. So you can go back and check it out in our YouTube channel, Voice of VIP Official. So Aishwarya is a rehab helpline counselor at Devi Prasad. She's um, uh, a wonderful writer, also a painter. She's been training people and doing a lot of innovative things in tactile painting. So Aishwarya, good afternoon, welcome, and over to you.
Thanks for the intro, Ma Shankar. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm happy to be here once again with you all to share the very little I know. So today we're going to talk about what is content writing. To be very honest, when I was doing my mass communication in my graduation, I actually disliked content writing because compared to video and editing, content writing was hard work because you have to think and you have to put things in the right way. But after I became a counselor and I was involved in writing many, content related things, then I realized that actually content writing is an important, is entertaining if you love it. So that's what has happened to me, and that's why today I'm here to talk about what content writing is. So basically, I mean, the name itself tells us what it is. Writing content. So there are like when you write a content, there are different things you need to understand. What are the different types of content that we can write? Then how are we supposed to write? And what are the skills required for a content writer? And what are the things to keep in mind once you finish your writing? And these are some of the things that we are going to discuss in this session today. So to start off with, I would throw light upon what is content writing. Content writing is any content that you write for it could be anything, but it could be a book, it could be the website content, it could be a newsletter, it could be business content like feature content is nothing but the content written for newspapers and magazines and all. Coming to business content, this would be something, you write articles for your business and reports, and you write for websites and all. So basically, when what even the like if you are writing content for Twitter or Instagram, that is also considered a content, so because you're writing there. So these are the different types of content. So um, now coming to how do we write this content is, it's very important for us to understand, like when you're beginning to write as a content, it is very important for us to understand the subject of what we are going to write. Okay, like if supposing if I'm about to write say the challenges that visually impaired face during the corona pandemic. Okay, so I'm writing a blog, or I'm writing for a website, or I'm writing an article for a news app. So what is the first thing I'll be thinking of? So of course the first thing will be the research into the topic. Yes, your experience is good enough, like what you know is good enough, but it is also important to research into the topic. Like without research, do not get into content writing, because you need to know what it is and the background, so that when somebody is reading your content, they know, acha, this person actually knows the subject. Without knowing the subject, let's say you're writing a technical content. So technical content would be something where you're writing about an app, okay, or you're writing about something related to space and robotics and all. Somebody says, okay, you got to write a content on this, write it soon. So from what we know, we won't be able to write that. We need to do enough research so that we know about the topic. So research is the most important thing. So, and in research, you take in the key points, like what are the key points that you'd want to add to your content. So it could be statistics, it could be the latest updates in that field. You collect the content from there, from your research. So a good and successful content writer will always research the topic what he or she is writing. That is number one. So then after research, so you have an idea, okay, there is a concept, there is a topic that you can write. And what is the next thing? The next thing is, you would not go directly write the content, because the next thing would be the outline. So what is an outline? Outline is nothing but, you would think, okay, this is how I'm going to start. Okay, this will be the introduction. So what will be included in the introduction, what will be the main body, and what will be the conclusion. So for any content, if you see, even a small tweet or an Instagram post or a Facebook post to a website, there are these three things: introduction, main body, and conclusion. So you would have to write the outline of the topic that you have researched, how you want to go about it, how you want to place it. Like example, if I can quote an example, it's a you're writing a crime story. Okay, so sometimes how the crime story will be written, like somebody is plotting to kill someone, and then they make all plans, and finally they kill the person. So that will be one style of writing. But the other style of that will be the outline. But the other outline could be, you start off with the murder and then you get into investigation. I know I'm giving completely a negative topic, but I just read a crime book and that's why that thing has come into my mind. But anyways, I hope you all get the example of what I'm trying to say. Outline is how you want the story play to go about. Story play is a term used in films. Like, many films have, okay, first have this scene and then see how it goes about. So same way, you have to draw an outline to what content you want to write. So outline is an important thing. Then once you start the outline, then you should understand what is your style of content writing. So how do you know, like supposing if you're writing for a magazine, okay, the content will be very casual. It will be somewhat uh, the content will be very light. I mean, it won't be like as it won't be serious. Of course it will be authentic, but it won't be, the words used will not be serious. But supposing, say, you're writing for a newspaper and you have to write a feature article, it has to be factual. And of course in magazines also it has to be factual, but the tone of the content will be serious. So every content writer uh, every content writer needs to know what type of content they need to write. So like example, supposing hold on 1 minute. Sorry, sorry about it. So what happens is, like, you should know the tone of the content. So you should try reading different styles. Like some content writer, they may be very humorous. Some content writer, they will be very sarcastic. you know like satire, they say, like when, especially when they write content related to government and what they have been doing, and if they're upset with that, they'll be very satire is like, it's comic, but you are criticizing somebody. So you should adapt your own style of writing. Okay, so next is, you think about what style you have to write for. for thinking, for coming to what style of writing, you have to think of the target audience. Say, supposing that most of your, like, say if I'm writing for Twitter, okay, say I'm going to share a link there, I'm writing for Twitter. How would you, because the age group of, you have an idea that the age group of you people who are using Twitter maybe between 16 to 45 or 50, say, okay. So these are the people who will be using it, so you can write content according to them, their taste. So this is, you have to, this is how you design your own content style. Then after designing your content style, so you go to write. So just write down the points whatever come to your mind, based on the outline that you thought of. Write down the points. So your content, whatever you're writing, especially the feature article or business articles like website and all, should uh, uh, include four W's and one H. Supposing, say, if you're writing a content for a newspaper, okay, or a news article, like on a news app or anything, how will you write a content for that? Or even a website, okay, how will you write a content? So four W's and one H is what you have to follow. What are these four W's? The first W stands for what. So what your content is about, your content should be able to answer that it is about this. Sometimes you must have seen contents like at least 3 4 lines they'll write and you won't even know what the content is about. So it should give clarity to the people what the content is about. Then second one is where, as in, supposing, say, if you're writing about a fest that happened, so you have to give details about where this thing has happened, or where, like example, a technology exhibition has been organized, so where is it organized, or where has it launched? These are the details that you would give. Then when, so when is it going to be launched, when was it launched, so when will it happen? These are the questions you will say for the third W. Then why, as in, this is the purpose or the objective of the event or the article, like why did they organize that, why are they launching this project, the purpose of whatever is to be put in front of people. Why answers the purpose. And the last one is how is where you can write lot of content, because how will be like example, if I'm writing for voice of VIP, if I'm writing content for voice of VIP, so how do we function, how do we render our services, how do we gather? These are the questions which will come under how. So how will have many sub questions. So it's very important whatever you write, these four W's and one H is the most important thing that you would need to remember as a content writer. Then after that, after you write down all the points and all, and then the style of writing. So before you go into that, you check what you have written. One is, why I'm telling you is, your content, people should be uh, trusting your content. There are two things that will add to that. One is the grammatical thing about the content, like you should be correct in your grammar, in your vocabulary. You should avoid spelling mistakes. And it should the content should not be too simple, like any layman has written it, or it should not be too complicated that no one will understand it. So it should be in that way. That is one thing. And the second thing is that it should be authentic, whatever information you're giving. Nowadays, if you see new reporters and all of them, when they're writing a content, editors, sorry, so when they just write it with, sometimes even your name, they may take it wrong, where they won't give the correct name, or the spelling is different. So these are the important things. It has to be authentic, it has to be factual. Okay. So these are the, because what happens based on these things, somebody who's reading your content will trust you. Okay, this person has not made any grammatical mistakes, so it is, you know, they will build trust in your content, like you as a writer. And secondly, when you write content which is authentic, you'll have more value, and people will be like, oh, this person gives, authentic information. Like example, if you see the news channels these days, there are so many news channels, but we have, in particularly, we have our favorite news channel, maybe because of different reasons. But one reason could be, oh, this person gives uh, authentic news, there's no biased in the news that what they give. So that is the way you have to be authentic, and you have to be factual in whatever you are putting out in front of the public. So once all these things are, kept in mind, then you start writing the content. So when you write the content, first thing is your headline. Your headline must be the capturing point, and then the first 3 4 sentences is where you grab a person's attention. We ourselves, so many times when we get messages on WhatsApp, or when we read something, when we read news articles, we go, there are some news articles that we skip, but there are some news articles that we actually go and read. That is because of the headline, or it could also be your own interest. If somebody is talking about a research article, if I'm not into research, I wouldn't go there, of course. But even in research article, if you have a very catchy headline, the way you write it, that will actually capture the reader who comes across it. So headline is the most important thing. And remember, headline should not be long headlines. Okay, it should be like 14 to 14 of an average headline. A good headline will be somewhere between 14 to 20 words. So this, keep this in mind. And like example, if I could quote a headline, say, I'll give you all 2 examples of headline. So example, there were, if I said that Voice of VIP is organizing a webinar series for persons with vision loss. So this is a good decent headline. But what is it that is capturing somebody's attention? This is like, okay, it is like annam papu kura types. But if you want to have nice paneer and biryani and all, your headline also should be like that. Like example, if the same headline, if I put it the other way, come join the Voice of webinar series, and enlighten, or know the world around you. So this is a second type of headline, where it is actually telling, the voice is active, and it is telling, okay, come and join. So this is how you write a very catchy headline to the content you're writing. Even in websites, like example, I've been writing content for our website at LBP. So I've seen, like, how do we know, like, what is a good website, what is a good content? Well, in your research article, when you're looking for the topic that you are writing about, look at other websites or other articles, how they have written it. Compare, uh, do content analysis. When I was in my college, we had this activity called content analysis. So there would be these 3 newspapers: the Hindu, the Times of India, and Deccan Chronicle. So we were to analyze the content of these newspapers. So the topic would be the same. Topic won't change at all, it will be the same. So we'll be taking 5 topics that are given in all the 3 newspapers. And then we have, like, scales, like how much does it give the 4 W's and 1 H. How interesting is the content, and how we would give ratings for the headlines. And we realized that The Hindu, if you see, it's a very professional newspaper. Like if you want to improve your English, if you want to really get into report writing, then Hindu is the place to be. Like Hindu, you could stick to Hindu because the content is, uh, there are no flaws when it comes to Hindu. Okay. But the problem with Hindu was, it couldn't attract youngsters. It is for people who are into their PhD or scholars, intellects. Hindu is mostly their favorite. And when it comes to Deccan Chronicle, Deccan Chronicle was good, but sometimes what would happen is, okay, I'll come to Times of India and then talk about Deccan Chronicle. Times of India is all flashy. Okay. Sometimes, here and there are spelling mistakes as well. And the content, like the name of the person is given wrongly, unless it's a famous person. The name of the person, is wrong. So the headline also is just because they have to write a headline, and that's why I don't know how the situation is right now. I'm talking back then in 2008 or something like that. So that is about Times of India. So, and they make it very content what a youngster would like to read it, like glittery, glamoury, that kind of content they would write. So when it came to Deccan Chronicle, it would be a mix of both. So it would be for person who is a scholar and intellect, and also youngster. So Deccan Chronicle was in between these two newspapers. So coming back to the heading also always, Hindus was very professional. Then the same likewise with Times of India and Deccan Chronicle. So you have to, through your heading, you have to capture the audience, and your content should be, so analyze your content. Like when you're looking, that's why I was talking about these three newspapers. So analyze contents from, like if you're writing about say some favorite actor in the city. Okay. So obviously somebody else would have written a topic about that actor. So go read 3 4 topics. Okay. Recently I remember Shiva Reddy has written a content on effective communication. He has written a blog. Okay. He shared with me. I'm yet to read it. So he has written it. So when you're writing it, you got to look at other articles. So why? Because say there are uh, a simple example again, say if there is chicken biryani. Hyderabad is famous for chicken biryani. So there's so many places that serves chicken biryani in Hyderabad. Like I don't even know, it must be countless. But we have our favorite place. Okay, this is the place I want to go because they give chutney very nicely, or the masala is very good. So what, same way, what you should have the uniqueness about your content. What is unique about your content, that you should think. Like even when we if we watch YouTube channels and all that, many people will come up with so many videos about the same thing. It will be on and on and on. But we tend to get pulled towards one particular or two videos. Why? Because there's something unique about that particular video. Same way, even your writing style should be unique. It should be like, hey, this person, there's something different about this person. So that is the reason why you have to maintain, you have to know what is unique about you. Like example, cricket commentary. Okay, I don't know much about it, but if you see Harsha Bogle, Ravi Shastri and Sunil Gavaskar and all, they're good. I mean, their commentary is good. But when Harsha Bogle does cricket commentary, you're like, array, as much as you want to watch the cricket match, you also want to listen to the commentary. So there is something unique about him. The same way, your content has to be unique. So the headline, the introduction, the main message, and the conclusion, whatever you write, it has to be unique.
Hey Aishwarya, you're not audible.
Yeah, you're not audible.
Speech mode beats. Speech mode talk. Open chat. Close. Close. Open participants panel. 17 part. Start my vid. Mute. Currently unmuted. Alt plus A button. Audio settings.
I think she is disconnected.
Hello. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I got a call. Sorry. So, like I was saying, the uniqueness is important, and also when you write, the content when you're writing, it has to be like somebody when they see it, they should, hey, let me just look at this content. They should be wanting to, go ahead and read the content. And after all this, when you write it, when you come to the conclusion part, okay, the conclusion part should always have a meaning. It should have a message, not like you should do this, you should be like this. you know People don't like that tone where somebody is telling them what to do, what not to do. But it should be in a way where you leave them with a question, you know leave them with a thought. Acha, do you think this is what is happening is good for our society? It should uh, leave them with that thought where they will think about it, and then they will try to do something about it. And even every content has a different conclusion. Like example, if you're writing content for a website, of course you cannot leave them with a thought, but you should leave them with a feel that acha, uh, I want to go see what they got to offer me. you know Come, speak to us. We will let you know what we do. We are we'll be more than welcome to talk to you. So the conclusion should be in such a way that where you would want to connect, or leave a message to the people who is reading it. So the conclusion has to keep those points in mind. After all this, then you have to check your content again for proofreading. So how do you do that? Do not read the whole content as if you have written it. Okay. One is read it as a third person, okay, somebody else. So if you take a time, once after you finish writing the content, take some time and then go through what you have written. So write from the headline, be a critic, be your own critic. So write from the beginning. How would you write it? The introduction, the headline, the introduction, the main sub body, and then the conclusion. So be your own critic. If you don't like something, then change it. And also, if you know people who can whom you trust and all, whom you know that will give you an honest opinion about what you have written, you can share the content with them and see how you have written it, like maybe a mentor or somebody like that. So once you get their feedback, make the necessary changes, and after you're happy with it, you can then publish it. So this is something about the content writing. But after you publish it, one important thing is you also need to you and the mentor is not enough. You also need to take the feedback of the people who are reading it, because they will give you a proper feedback. Maybe not all of them may give you the right feedback, but maximum of them will may give you a similar feedback that acha, you can change this, acha, you can do this. If supposing if you think, yeah, I can improve on this, then your next content, make sure that you keep that in mind, and then go ahead and write that content. Last time I spoke about writing blogs, and also it is the same for writing blogs as well. It is same for writing website content, newsletter. What is newsletter? I'm sure you all know what is newsletter. It is a collection of news articles, about a particular subject from all places, and then you share a link. So some newsletters are very interesting, like I get American Foundation for the Blind newsletter, which is very interesting. Like every article, you don't want to miss it. You want to click the link and see what is it. Why? Because the way it is written will attractive. But there is one organization locally, I don't want to name it, but they keep sending newsletters, but I have seen so many spelling mistakes in the newsletter. and they send it to so many people. So why, and you don't even feel like, because of the spelling mistakes, you don't even feel like reading the content. So as when you are being a content writer, what are the skills that you would need, or you would require? One is, you need to, you have to have, like I said before, you have to have the uniqueness. You have to have your own style of writing. To have your own style of writing, read other styles of writing. Okay. The next thing is, you have to have, besides your own knowledge, you should research. That is the second thing. And third is, be your own critic. Okay. So when you do these things, and slowly as you gain experience, you will gain perfection in whatever you write. So this is something about content writing. Now, coming to plagiarism and copyright and all that. So uh, according to Digital Millennium Content Act, every content, whether registered or not, supposing if I'm writing a content and post it on Facebook, okay, Facebook is just my personal thing, but if I post it there, and somebody else copies it, you know I mean, just me posting there, that that becomes my copyright. I mean, nobody else can copy that content. Okay. Same way with blogs, websites, and all. Okay. And the term, like, if supposing if I'm writing, say I've written about, written a feature article. Okay. Say I've written a book or anything like that. So when I have written it, the copyright will be, as long as I'm living. Like if I'm living for 100 years, the copyright will be there. And to that, after I die, extra 70 years will be added. Like, even my children can sue somebody for infringement. Infringement is when you violate something. Okay. So uh, you don't have to necessarily, if somebody has copied your content, I mean, as long as nobody has copied your content, you don't have to register with anybody to acha, this is my content and all. But say, let's say somebody has copied your content and all. So what will happen is, then you go to content writing office. If you type on Google, you'll have this content writing office. It's in India, based in Delhi. So you can register that content online with them. So this will for your local, I mean, this will be for the court case. This person has infringed it, he has violated my content, right, on this particular content. And then you need to provide proofs that you are the owner of that content. The content is your intellectual property. You have made taken efforts, and you put hard work in writing that content. Obviously somebody else copying is a bad thing. So you can sue that person under this. You can go to this copyright office, and the registration there is online, and you don't have to go to that place, Delhi, at all. It will happen locally, based on your area. Wherever the office is, it will happen locally. So this is about the copyright. And like I said, it will be for 70 years. Like, as long as you are, if you are the owner, it will be as long as you're living, plus 70 years. So this is about the copyright. And as content writers ourselves, of course, we can get ideas from other write-ups and writing and all. Acha, I need this write-up and all. So we should, it is unethical to copy somebody else's content. Like, oh, I want this. Like, say we go to, you're writing a website for something, and then, oh, I go to this first website, copy the first line, then second website, copy the second line. No, 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 no. That is not a content, that is not what the content writer does. So the idea and the concept has to be your idea. You can generate it by reading these articles, but it has to be original. Whatever you write, it has to be original. So these are the things that you keep in mind when you're writing a content. Now, coming to the last session in this, how do I get into, how do I make content writing as my job? No, before I go and talk about it, I want to say that, like, many of us, like, because since English is not a native language, so we have difficulties, in putting our, we have thoughts and ideas, but sometimes we have problem putting our thoughts into the paper, typing it down and all. So first is we have to improve our, writing skills. So how do we improve our writing skills? By reading articles what interests us. So when we come across articles, we also come across many words, vocabulary that is used there. So what is the meaning? You should have the curiosity. Okay, this person has used this particular word, what does it mean? you know so we have to have that curiosity, and you have to read a lot. Reading, when you read it, automatically you come across so many words, and different styles of writing, and that's when your English will improve. Trust me, content writing is something that you can actually sit at home and do and earn some bucks. So it's and for this you don't have to, like, what do they say, you don't have, like, as visually impaired, we have so many things. This company is not giving me job, that company is not giving me job, we don't have opportunities. But content writing is nothing. You just have to write it in a word. You need to know what you're writing about, you need to do your research, and you need to be skillful, you need to be skilled, and then write the content and submit to the company, and you'll be paid for what you have written. And right now I have done a research on this bloggers from all around the world. Right now bloggers are earning a lot because they don't have to go anywhere. The website is there, they don't have to go anywhere, they can sit at their home, sit in front of the computer. And now the content is, the because of the COVID thing, there's so much content to write about, that they're earning so much these days, right, sitting right at home. But for that we have to be skilled. So for that you need to take that one step and look around, prepare yourself, have that curiosity to learn more, and learn different vocabulary, learn different styles of writing. So that is something you need to keep in mind. And I would also like to mention some, give you all some examples about plagiarism. Plagiarism is when, you copy somebody else's content. Okay. So all of you may know of J.K. Rowling, I'm sure. So J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter books. She was sued on this copyright law for her book called The Goblet of Fire. And there's this writer called Adrian Jacobs. So he said that, J.K. Rowling got the idea of Goblet of Fire. I mean, she copied a lot of things from his book. So she was sued for that. And to give you all an Indian example, see, copyright is not just for writing. It could be any media. It could be film. It could be song. It could be literature. It could be an artwork. Anything. I'm sure all of you know this music director, Preetham. Preetham. He makes in Bollywood music. I don't know now. I'm not sure about it, but he's made music for movies like Metro, Life in a Metro. This was movie in 2008 or 7, something like that. He's made many songs for many movies in Bollywood. So he was sued because later, like once he made some songs, they realized that he copied some Korean songs. The music was copied from this Korean movies, like not movies, but not that popular videos, right? He copied music from there. So they sued him for that. So another example is Lord of the Rings. So he also, that the author of Lord of the Rings also was sued. So these are just an examples of, what will happen when, you copy somebody else's content. So this is something I wanted to talk. And last, you know uh, you when you're writing content, like, different content and all, like blogs, or you're writing tweets, business article, your this thing should be, the publishing of your, even if you're writing a newsletter, it should be consistent. Should not be, oh, I've written one content now and after 3 months I will write another content. It shouldn't be like that. It should be consistent. Whatever you're writing should be consistent, and that is when you grow your audience. And for that, again, when you write your content, you share your link, you get people who could want to read your content. And like, similar to like the last time I said, when you're sharing your link, don't just share the link, but write something about it. Or if you're written the content, take a quote, very interesting quote from your content, put it there before the link. This is, so people will read that, hey, this is something interesting, let me go read it. Supposing if I write about um, anything, any incident, I take a quote from that article, my quote as in whatever you have written, and I put that in quotes, and then share it on social media like Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. And that will direct the readers to make them want to read it. Hey, this is something interesting, I need to look into this. So that's how you promote your article. So this, of course, if it's a professional writing, you don't have to promote at all, because your business will, because yours is a business or a company, that itself will know people will I mean, you'll have enough crowd to read what the content is. But what if you are a freelance writer, and you're writing your personal content as well. So for this, you need to share your articles, in a particular way. Don't just share the link. The link sharing will, it will not interest people. Links, people will not even click these links if you just share the link. And coming to the last thing, how do you look for jobs as content writer, where I've learned everything, I have enough skills, I can write good English, I have written few articles and people have liked the articles, I know the tips and steps to write good article. Now the next thing is, how do and where do I look for a job as a content writer? So nothing but register yourself on different job search engines like naukri.com or indeed.com. Even if you type content writing jobs, if you type, there's so many jobs that are listed there, for websites, for even for leaflets also. Leaflets are something that brochures, catalog, and taking care. You could be the content writer for the, for all the articles of the company, right from the newsletter, website, leaflets, pamphlets, everything. So you can look on naukri.com or indeed.com to see if there are job opportunities. And so for that, you need to be ready with your resume. And in your resume, don't just educational qualification and all, but you could write, you could share, like, I would say, besides sharing your resume, you should be writing a cover letter. Cover letter is nothing but, along with the resume in your mail, it could be a mail cover letter, email cover letter, or it could be an enclosure, like, a physical, like a real paper, printed out and all. So in that, you write about yourself and why they should choose you for the job. So in that, you can actually share the links of whatever articles you have written. So um, this so this way, you go to this place, and you can be a freelance writer, not that you have to stick to one company. Freelance writer is, you can write for many, you can write for many projects together, not like only one project, one company. Because sometimes when you're working for one company, they have a contract that you need to work with them alone. But freelance writer, what happens, you can work for different companies at a time, but only thing is, you have to submit the write up before the deadline. So you need to make a nice interesting resume with all your experience. Even though you don't have any experience working for a company and all, it doesn't matter. Whatever articles you have written, you could share those links there with them and make it very creative. What overall, not just the resume and the cover letter, even your content, whatever you write, should be creative and original. That is when it will attract the people's attention, and you could be a successful content writer. So I think uh, this session is done, and we could be open for the questions.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. It's been a great session. I mean, content writing is relatively new among visually impaired people, at least in two Telugu states. So I really hope at least we can have. I mean, this session will act as a great start for the uh, overall dialogue and journey ahead. So if you guys have any sort of questions, doubts, or clarifications, so the Q&A session is open now, so you can ask Aishwarya any sorts of questions that you have.
See, I want to add to whatever I said. Like, yes, of course, content writing is visually impaired. We don't see that in India. Like, I don't, I think there are very few people. Like, there's one person from Bangalore, Subramaniam L. He is a news editor. Like, he
Yeah,
writes.
he works for what is that? He works for a newspaper, right?
Yes, he does for work for a newspaper. And I've informed you about Sujita. She's a content writer. So there are very handful of people who have vision impairment that are into content writing. And I think, in fact, that is one place where we have the opportunity is very vast, where you can actually do something, because writing, if you just know how to use a notepad or a word document, that is more than enough,
Exactly. Hmm.
and you can write your content and you can share it with whomever. Of course, uploading it on if it's a company, they will take care of uploading it on the website. But if it's your own website and all, if it is accessible, good enough. If it is not, you can still ask. People will be more than helpful to actually upload it for you on the website. So it's a place where you have many opportunities, but we just got to explore this place, this field more. If you see in abroad, UK and USA and Australia, there's so many people who are into content writing. I mean, I have known people like who have vision loss. They are famous authors also, so it has a lot of potential. If one gets into this, it has a lot of potential.
I think in India, to just motivate people, government should start content writing jobs.
Correct.
That's it. What?
Correct. But independent of what the government does, you can still be a content writer.
No, but in India, government job is a magical word. Otherwise, we don't really.
Correct. But I think, I personally feel, we shouldn't just be focused on government job. I think we should explore our opportunities and knock different doors, and that's when the opportunities will open to us.
Yeah, that
So
is the whole point of having
a
webinar.
session on this.
yeah. So you can, all of you can ask any questions if you like. It could be anything. Don't just hesitate, and you can ask me anything.
Yeah, you guys can come up with any sort of questions.
Hi Uma, hi Aishwarya. This is Karthik. I actually raised my hand over.
Oh, sorry, we were so
Why?
indulged in government jobs versus content writing.
That's okay. Hi Aishwarya.
Hi,
Again, it
Karthik.
was a great session. So I just wanted to, again, it's my perception. Maybe you could throw some light from your experience. There is a thin gap between two sentences when you say a glass is half empty and a glass is half full. You as a content writer, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to use. You would want to use a glass is half full. But again, there would be certain circumstances where you have to use glasses half empty. Also, could be. But if you could throw some light on it. And lastly, I would want to correlate this to our community, where people often use the terms disability, but if you see on the other side, more positive way is to use it as specially abled or differently abled. When it comes to vision impairment, we use vision impairment, but when you use visually challenged or even vision loss, I think that is more. Again, it's my perception, but I would like to hear it from you, Aishwarya, as a content writer.
Okay, when it comes to your first thought, Karthik, like, whether a glass is half empty or half full, to be very honest, like, yes, there are times, I mean, of course, like, life teaches us the thing that where you look at what you have, not what you don't have. Okay, but in spite of that, sometimes we do look at the empty. I mean, not that we want to look there, but situations forces us to look at what we don't have. Okay, but the point again is, we come back to, yes, okay, it is not there with me, but still I will continue with what I have. It takes time, it doesn't happen in a day or two, but it takes time. So that is my perception on that. And coming to your, whether what to use, like, disabled or specially abled and all, I would say use anything, yeah, you know, because I don't mind, if supposing one person is calling me person with vision loss. I mean, he's addressing me as a person who has vision loss. Or there's another person who's calling me blind. Okay, so direct blind, disabled, blind. The other person is saying specially abled person with vision loss. But what if the person who's saying person with vision loss or specially abled is just saying it, just by using his lips, but in his heart he's doubting my abilities. On the other hand, who's the person who's saying blind or disabled, he knows I'm capable of many things. It doesn't really matter, in fact, Priya and I used to discuss this. It doesn't really matter what people call you. What matters is their perception about you. What they think, are you uh, do they doubt your abilities? Do they have confidence in you? The inner perception of their matters. It doesn't matter what they call you outside. I could be calling, Uma Shankar, hey, person with vision loss, but I could be like, hey, you can't do anything, man, from inside. Sorry, Uma Shankar, just giving you an example. So,
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. That means a lot.
so it does. I mean, the whole point is lost, right? So that is my opinion on this.
Yeah, I would also like to chip in this thing. I think for me, when you said that glass is half full, I think it is more negative a statement than glass is half empty, because the glass is half full, be done with it, be satisfied with it, kind of a sense it gives to me. And it is, I mean, it's high time, and we always looked everything in that positive sense. It is not bad. It is absolutely not bad. It worked wonders for a lot of people, but it's high time that we realize what we lack, and we try to make that possible. The only possible when you realize that the glass is half empty, you will try to fill it. And I would personally like to be called as disabled than different, because I'm not differently able. I don't have any different abilities than a sighted guy. So if he is blind for a couple of days, if he starts walking close his eyes for a couple of days, he'll also become like you and me. So there's nothing different or special in at least me. So yeah.
And talking to what, listening to what Umar Shankar said, I think, this half empty glass or half full glass is not just for us. I think it's for everyone. See, if the glass is full, okay, and sometimes we don't tend to realize what we don't have. We value things when we don't have it. you know we value things when we get it after a long time. That's when we value things. So we need to also, not have some things to realize their value.
Okay. This.
I think you guys have put it in a good way. I think inner perception is more important than the words.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for answering that.
No,
Thanks for
all
the
this
question,
discussion
Karthik.
about glasses just making me to remember something else. So okay,
This is probably not the time.
and I'm home for last 4 months.
I think that should be offline discussion then.
Yes,
We can-
yes. So
Exactly.
next question. Any questions?
Speech mode B. Speech mode talk.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Who's this?
Srinivas, ma'am.
Is our
Hi,
regular
Srinivas.
customer.
Okay.
Ma'am, first, thanks to the Voice of VAP organization for conducting this kind of sessions for us. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I am really satisfied and inspired with your session because wanna
Thank you,
be the content writer, but I don't know in which content I will be the content writer. So, ma'am, I have a small question. That,
Yeah,
ma'am,
please
as you
go ahead.
said, that we have to write introduction, main body, and conclusion
Mhm.
when we are writing content writer. Ma'am, I also have been coming across a lot of articles when I am reading. So I come across different kinds of introduction. See, say some newspapers write directly introduction, the what the situation had happened, and there they get into the details. And some articles I saw that they start with the point that had happened from when it had happened, where it had happened, then how it had happened, like that. So,
Mm.
what do you feel like? How do we have to start? How would it be better if we start like if we directly go into the details and if we directly go into the matter what had happened, and if we go to the details later, would it be fine, or would it be good to start with every detail that how it had happened and
Yeah.
like
Thanks for the question, Srinivas. See, either of them is wrong. Okay. So, like example, there are two things that you should remember when you write. Like in the beginning itself, I wrote like the outline and how it should flow, like what will come first, second, and third. Like I gave you example of that crime story and all. One is where they plot everything and then the person is murdered in the end, and the other is it starts with a murder and then the investigation happens and then they come to know about the plot. So it is ulta, vice versa. One is it starts with something, ends with something else, and the other one is vice versa. So these two things, this thing depends upon two things. One is the incident or the event or the subject that you're talking about. Okay. Supposing if you're talking about a meeting with say example, Sachin Tendulkar is, he's come to meet us, he's come to be a part of the webinar series example. Okay, so if you write Voice of VIP conducts webinar every month and this that there were 12 sessions so far, these are the topics covered. Oh, by the way, Sachin Tendulkar was one person. This is like,
no, it
does not catch people's
doesn't.
attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. But then on the other hand, if you say Sachin Tendulkar, attends the
Surprisingly,
voice.
Sachin Tendulkar attendance.
Huh. Okay, so it is like, hey, I want to look at this content. And then when you say, this Sachin Tendulkar attended this series, which is being conducted by Voice of VIP, and this is conducted every month. So there itself, in the second type of content, it is attracting the audience. Okay, so it depends on uh, the incident or the event or the article or the subject that you're sharing. So it could be like I said, both are not wrong, but it depends on the article that you are sharing. If you think that no, I need to put the ending first, this is how I want it to be, put it, but it should attract the bottom line is it should attract the readers. So your question is answered, Srinivas.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Srinivas. So any more
Anyone?
questions, guys?
Yes, good evening, ma'am. Raghu from here.
Hi, Raghu. Good evening.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. My question is, I have a few issues with the conclusion part because it was fine when writing the body and introduction, but when it comes to the conclusion, I had a confusion that is that conclusion mean this short summary of what we have said in the message body, or is that something to express the views and some place for criticizing, or I would like to know what would be the better way to conclude a thing, a paper.
Okay. See, you don't summarize everything in conclusion, Raghu. That conclusion happens when you're having a phone conversation. Okay, you call up somebody, say you're calling Uma Shankar. Acha, Uma Shankar, when is the webinar meet? He tells you 3 to 5 o'clock on Wednesday. So at the end, when you're saying Tata bye bye, you're like, okay, so 3 to 5, right? Okay, so there you summarize. Okay,
Yes.
but when you're writing something, you don't summarize, again of what you have talked, because it is already there, in the first paragraph, in the introduction, in the main body. The subject you're talking about is already there, so no need to summarize your the subject there, whatever you're talking about. But what you need to do is you need to give a perspective, like, okay, so this is the thing about, that is a place where you give your perspective, where you give your opinion, whether you agree with it, you disagree with it, or whether you are leaving the question to the audience. So these are the things that you leave with. Okay, because most reporters, this, if you see, the, like, example, the, the reporters who are not biased, if you read their articles, they will leave the audience with the question. Okay, they don't give their opinion. Reporters, we had one subject called media ethics. So in that, a reporter or a writer, when he's writing about something, this is, I'm talking about feature article. Okay, business article again is different. So when you're writing about feature article, like you are writing an article for newspapers, so you should not be biased, you should put the facts there, and you should leave the audience with a thought. So this is the thing that has happened. So like, India needs a question, so people, we need to think about this, on those lines you leave the audience. But then if you're writing about a business, like if you're working for some company where you have to write about a product, so there at the end you write like the good things about the product. So this is the best, product that you can use in the market, and those are the things, you end it with the features of that product, like something to think about. Again, you leave them with the good thoughts about that product. So these are the things that you don't have to summarize the whole thing again there as well, but you leave them with a thought. That is how you conclude an article, and you can end it, with a nice caption or a famous quote or anything. And in fact, you can start also your content with a nice quote. So starting your content with a nice quote will help you. Ending it also with a nice quote will help you. Okay,
Yeah,
does
thanks
that?
for such inputs. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Welcome, Raghu.
Hello.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
So anyone
Shiva.
else?
Hello.
Yes, who's speaking?
Shiva, this is Shiva. Shiva.
Hey,
Hi,
Shiva. Hi.
Shiva.
One more regular
Hi,
customer.
Shiva.
Audio now unmuted.
In fact, all the regular customers today.
Yes, Shiva, go
Hello.
ahead.
Hey, sorry,
Yeah,
Shiva.
yeah, I actually,
You go on with the
I
question.
actually got a call, so couldn't.
No problem.
I actually got a call, so couldn't speak. Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Your session was really good. Thanks for all your tips. So.
Shiva?
Hello.
Yeah, Shiva, go ahead.
Yeah. And I have actually been getting a call. Yeah, sorry. Since I have like lots of time in this holidays, I just enroll myself for some content writing, a training course. So no, she just used to give me some articles that we had to work on, some topics that she expected us to write on, and so those topics included like some games, some poker games and all such things. So, and I did not find those topics so familiar, and then I did not go ahead with writing those topics on those topics. So I just left it. And my question is like, do you feel like any content writing, such kind of content writing, training institutes or coaching institutes that are budding up, like plenty, like will be serving any purpose? Like, will they be helpful? And another thing that I wanted to ask you is, since you told that visually impaired are not so much, to content writing, like what could be some of the reasons, that you feel? Is it just because of lack of awareness or something like that?
Okay. So coming to your first question, Shiva, uh, I am like about the institutes that give courses on content writing. Yes, it is good. It's okay to go for these courses, but to be very honest, there are only very few companies that actually do for the purpose of content writing. And now, because of this COVID and all, now they have just started these online courses just to pull some monetization from people. The best, I mean, even if you want to go for to be very straightforward, it is better that you search, there's so many articles just on content writing, courses on content writing, how to content write. So I would say those articles are much better than writing for enrolling for such courses. It is good, I'm not saying it is bad. It could be a part of it, but you may not be able to gain all the knowledge by enrolling yourself for these courses. Because when you learn from your own thing, that is different than learning for from institute. For example, if you want to know like what to do and all, just browse a lot. Browsing, many people do not understand that when you browsing is such a big key that we have all the information just at the click of the button, and we get everything there. And once you browse, you would know acha what to do and all. And as for things like they said poker and all that, of course sometimes we don't get to write the content what we like. We may get some different content itself. So in that case, I would suggest what we should do is, Shiva, we should research a lot in that topic, right from basics. You think that you're a layman and you don't know. Obviously, I wouldn't know anything about poker and all that. So one is you research on that topic, whatever they are giving you, on the gaming thing and all. Then another place that you look out for is people's reviews. People's reviews are very important when you go to these gaming sites and all. If there's a poker game or anything like that, read out people's reviews, what they're saying about it. Because the website will say, hey, the game is fantastic, 5 out of 5 stars. But people who are actually using it, they may give you an opinion that is different. So you have to research is the one of the main things that as a content writer you have to do it. Okay, so that is the answer to your first question. And I'm sorry, I forgot your second question.
Yeah, why is visually impaired people not
Oh
so
yeah,
much
yeah, got it.
getting?
That obviously is lack of awareness, Shiva. And content writing is something that has recently come out. Okay, and what happens in here in India, like like maybe 15 years before something, content writing has actually come out. And if you ask, like Uma Shankar just said, in the beginning when we were here, like when we started discussing, most of the visually impaired, like graduation karo, government job pao, bank job karo, UPSC karo. That, because that is not even their mistake, because content writing, it has to click. you know you have to be skilled and it has to click somewhere. Okay, but what happens when you do a government job? That acha, we are settled, we are getting money, we are getting pension, and let me get married. This is what is that, that thing has come, the cliche that this is what is called settling down. So that has come. So that, and of course lack of awareness, people are not aware and all that. But I think it's high time, because of the advent of technology and all, people should know that there are these doors for them that could open up and they could get into these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Thanks
Welcome.
also for your perspectives.
Thanks, Shiva. Welcome.
Thank you, Shiva. I think we'll wrap up the session here. So Aishwarya, do you have anything, any conclusion, any message?
No message, Shankar. Lot of message ho gaya today.
All right. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. It was indeed a great session, and we are really looking forward to a lot more sessions like this from you. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining with us today. This is Uma Shankar from Voice of VIP signing out of the meeting.
Thank you all. Bye bye.